What's up guys, Luke here, back with another Fortnite video. Today we're going to be going over 5 things I believe Fortnite should add to Chapter 2 Season 3. I'm pretty sure you guys all know by now, but Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 3 has been delayed yet again due to the issues in America. The release date for this season has now been pushed back to June 17th and the device event will be broadcast on June 15th. This list will be in no particular order, except for the last point, which I believe could be quite interesting and a unique thing for Fortnite to add. So first of all, the first thing I'd like to see Fortnite try and add into Chapter 2 Season 3 is more LTMs. Now, we could argue that this Operation LTM, it's new, and it's something different, I'll give them props for that. But I don't believe the way they've gone about it was too interesting. They've added a progression system, but they haven't really put the matchmaking kind of aspect there. So you could become up against people who've got the mythic drum gun, while you've only just started playing the Operation LTM. It is rewarding, but only if you're playing the Operation modes. It's not something you can really just jump into and expect to get, because you could just be really screwed with the loot you get, because you do start off with a great pistol, and unless you've got those higher tiers by playing Operation mode, you're not really going to be getting any good weapons. Now, the original LTMs they added in Chapter 1 were much better. The Solid Gold LTM was a lot of fun, and there was also some other varieties they tried to add, like the Wild West mode. If Season 3 is going to be water themed, which it is literally all but confirmed. We've had the leaked banner thanks to PlayStation. Big up PlayStation for that one. But they could do like a boat race kind of LTM, or you can only, it's Battle Royale but you're only on boats, kind of like the A Royale mode they did a few months ago. That could be interesting. Or they could add like a boat race thing to Party Royale, which they seem to be putting more focus on. But either way, as long as they seem to be adding more LTMs to the next season, that is a huge improvement. Secondly, I believe Fortnite needs to try and add more mobility. Now, you may be questioning what I mean by that, because we've already got the new swimming mechanic that was introduced this chapter. We have the boats, we have launch pads, and we have the choppers, which I believe people kind of overlooked as a Season 2 addition. But I don't see boats being used that often unless you have to desperately get away from the storm. Launch pads in competitive are they're highly coveted. Everyone will just sit in their box and they will all rotate to the launch pad as soon as it's played. So I believe that, you know, edited or tweaked with launchpad drop rates, or just even took it out competitive, it spiced things up a bit, but that's up to Epic to decide. Now, one of my friends, BigBonceJw, who's changed his channel to that. Great decision, gents. Look, it was him who actually kind of pointed this out to me, because he's a lot better at competitive gameplay than I am. But basically, we kind of came up with the need to reintroduce the impulse grenades or shockwave grenades, and I don't know if he agrees with this, but I believe shadow bombs from Season 9 and 10, I found them to be quite useful for rotation, and they also kind of changed the map a bit, because you couldn't really tell where people were coming from unless you were paying attention. So they need to just add like more mobility items. They could even reintroduce the glider redeploy, but only as an item. I think that would change things up a bit and be quite suitable for what they were trying to do. But as, like, if they're trying to have like launchpad style rotation, they can do that. But then if they have their like redeploy as an item, then only that team who's got it can use it. Then no one else can really rely on them for free rotation. Now, my third point is a bit of an interesting one. Technically, we've already got this. It's just more of an expansion on it. Weekly updates. We are getting sort of weekly updates this season. They're going back to their roots. You know, like in bloody Chapter 10, every week or close to every week, there was a new location, or they did something to a location. Like Paradise, you crouched, you turned into a prop. That was an interesting feature. I mean, not the best, but like Greasy Grove had tacos rain from the sky, and you could only emote it while he was doing that, or you would heal. Like, it was something that changed the course of the game. So, I mean, if they wanted to do something similar to that, the only way I could see them reasonably doing this is if the next season is water themed, and like the map has flooded, each week the water level slowly drips down, like there's something going on, or like, I don't know, they just try and drain the water a bit. I feel like that'd be interesting, because it could reveal like new areas, or like new ways to move about. Will be quite unique, I'll give them that. But then, you know, the weekly updates we've got at the minute, are usually bug fixes. We get like one big update every 2 weeks. That usually comes with like new challenges. But I mean, what I mean by a weekly update is usually like a new weapon or some changes, like they used to do back when they gave us patch notes. I mean, we have kind of had patch notes back. I'll thank them for that. But I'm not complaining overall, because we do have semi-weekly updates that do give us something. They do give us bug fixes. They do keep an eye on the game, and I'll give them that. That's fair enough. Point 4 is again similar to kind of the last one. This is technically back. Patch notes. Look, they have been added back. They're only for content creators with a sport creator code. So I'd like to see this available for all the players, like they put out on their Twitter page, on their official website, like they used to give us back in Season 10. I think that was quite great. I give them props for that. That was a good decision. But now, you know, I can see why Epic has removed the patch notes, as they weren't happy. Players complained about the changes before they had the chance to play with them. I suppose that's fair enough. They put the effort into making that change. We were complaining about that change before we even had the chance to experience it and figure out why they thought that was a good idea to add. And that is why they removed the patch notes, because they thought, well, let's just have them play around, and if they can discover the change, then, you know, obviously it was a bit of a drastic change. But most of the time, they won't even be able to notice it. They could have increased the fire rate of a weapon, and unless they told you they did, you probably wouldn't have noticed it. So I will give Epic points for this. No one's really keeping track, but they have brought patch notes back. They are like hinting to content creators what their idea was with the change, what they thought would accomplish, and what they plan on doing in future in updates. So that's fair enough. Good job, Epic. Before we continue with what I feel could be the most interesting, I've got a few honourable mentions. Now, new items, briefly spoke about that, but that comes under the new updates. It just means, like, you know, adding a new rotation item, a new consumable. Doesn't even have to be big. They could just add, like, I don't know, bananas or something. They land under a couple of trees. Works like an apple or something. It'd be something. And new tournaments, right? That's something that's almost guaranteed to happen with every season. You know, like, they'd probably reintroduce Hype Nights or Cash Cups. Preferably platform only. So, and, you know, it's easier for both platforms. And then, you know, the final, like, honourable mention, and it is practically guaranteed, map changes. You know, they always add a map change within the season. It's just more, this one should be, I feel like it should be a big one, because the Chapter 2 map has stayed relatively the same. They didn't really change any existing locations in this season, except for, like, the island. But they just simply added new locations instead, like just off the coasts. And I feel like that was a good decision, because, you know, we didn't really have as long of the locations. But Chapter 2 Season 1 was like 6 months. This one has been a solid 3 or 4. So I think we've had enough time with these locations, you can start changing them. And I think that is what they're doing. Right, now we come to my final point, the one I've been hyping up for the past 8 minutes. And you may think to it, you may like think about it and just go, well, technically they've already done this, haven't they? And it is separated loot pools for arena games and public matches, or what they're called modes. Now, yes, this has technically already been done. You know, grenades were removed at the start of the season because they were buggy. They are reintroduced halfway through the season when Epic could fix them, but they did not add them back to arena mode for 2 reasons. One, it was like the FNCS or something was going on, and they didn't want to interrupt the game. They didn't want to like shift the meta without players having time to learn what was happening. And they also didn't want, well, yeah, I've just really said it, they didn't want to like interrupt any tournaments and players who didn't have a chance to play with it. And they also didn't want to quickly shift the meta without players having time to relearn. But they've also done it again with C4. Halfway through the season, or roundabout, C4 was deemed too OP in arena because it had too high a drop rate and it spawned in stacks of 3. And it was quite powerful against the lower mats you would have in an arena game, because you only have a max of 1,500 in arena compared to a max of near 3,000 in a public game. So what they did was they reduced the drop rate significantly and they lowered C4 to drop in stacks of 1. And now it shows that the servers can handle this because they have like altered the drop rates for different modes. Now, I propose that in public matches they add all the fun, like, is there not just the fun items, but it can be kind of like the testing ground for if something is too overpowered in arena. Because if it is deemed too overpowered in Arena, they could just kind of nerf it in there, lower it a bit, so the competitive players don't really have to worry about it. But then if the public players are enjoying it, finding new meme strategies about it, which I swear we better have some good meme strats next season, I want to pull some off. And I don't want to just hide as a henchman, which I am desperately considering, because it looks like it could be fun. We're adding all the fun stuff into Arena. Well, not Arena, sorry, my bad. We want to keep the fun stuff out of Arena. Competitive is a very serious thing. You know, oh, gotta be very, very desperate. Oof, gonna be fuming if I don't get that top 2%. Only came top 3% last time. Oh, but seriously, if they were to add the fun stuff into public games, more players would come back to the game, or be introduced to the game would be allowed to grow. So, if they add the fun stuff, all the stuff you can make memes on, like impulse grenades. It felt good just when you, like, when you on the final circle on the mountain, it just came down to you and the other player, and you just threw an impulse grenade and hit them off. More often than not, I hit myself off rather than them, and I choked a ridiculous amount of games like that, and you'll never see any clips of that, because I deleted them long ago. But all those meme strategies and proving that the game is fun outside of its competitive aspect would introduce a bunch of like casual players to come back, because they're only seeing Fortnite as something competitive because of all the sweaty build battles now going on. So if they added the fun stuff back, and like, it could be seasonal kind of themed as well, because season 10 was all like rift based and all just broken, the map's fucked, and they added the junk rifts. They were quite overpowered and they were fun. I'm gonna be honest, it was fun. And the mechs, once they nerfed them into place, weren't as bad as they were made out to be. I reckon if they were added, they shouldn't add them back, but if they were added back, then now players know how to counter them. It'd be a fun option to try. And they weren't, well, they were in Arena. I made a whole thing about blowing them up in Arena and killing people off spawn. That was quite fun. I'll give them that. But there was just something about having these fun, broken, overpowered weapons in a public game and then not having to worry about them in Arena, because I'm pretty sure they ended up taking mechs out to Arena at some point. Maybe wrong about that. But if they were to bring back all your fun stuff, your flintlock pistols, just stuff you can do like meme strategies with, something that makes the game a bit more varied from just going, ooh, look, shotgun, SMG, just sticking to the same weapons over and over again, then that's something. They've won. So lads, they've already won, obviously, because of this competitive aspect. They've won over the competitive player, but now they're slowly losing them. And now, I could have mentioned aim assist in this list, but everyone else will have spoken about aim assist, all the changes in that. So I felt these are like more interesting ones to try and mention in this list. And I really hope they do add some of these like fun weapons back, because I miss just being able to impulse trick. That's another thing actually. You could trick shot with them, like have you impulse yourself up, heavy snipe someone. Just it would be a lot of fun to try and add stuff like good stuff, good weapons back, Epic. I know you're probably not listening to this, probably like half my subscribers aren't even listening to this tidy, but just listen to just what the community has to say. You're usually very good at that, Epic, so let's hope we can continue this in the next season. Well, all my ranting, waffling and rambling aside, I think I'm just going to leave it there. And hopefully season 3 does not get delayed any longer, because I've got the battle pass and there's no way I'm getting golden peely, so I may as well just not tease me with more time to try and get it. That'd be nice, Epic. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe and leave a comment. We're on our way to 50 subscribers at the end of the year. If you can help towards that, that'd be great. Thanks, and I'll see you lot in the next video. See you later.